There he goes. Lots of work to do on these guys. The more I work on them, the more I realise what's missing and what needs doing. No, Late War Sons of Horus, Agrax. Um, yeah, just Late Heresy Sons of Horus using Chaos Space Marine parts, based on the old Collected Visions artwork, which gave Sons of Horus veterans wore red arms for some reason, like red gloves. The models will just be sat in a little box for ages, so they've got some damage to them where they've been knocking around, and it's been months and months since I painted any of them, so I don't know what I'm doing with them, and I need to go back and finish them. Dry for a bit. How are the Night Lords doing? Well, the Night Lords are all over here. I sculpted some hair for one of them. They've all had things like pouches and helmets put up on their waists, and I found some Mark 6. I still need another 4 Mark 6 Marines, and it's Agrax. I generally don't use Nuln Oil. Yeah, if I'm just shading something in general, Agrax is better because black is not a natural colour effectively. Even on metal, Agrax is better because if you ever look at industrial machinery, it gets a very dark brown sheen to it with the oil and the dirt and stuff. And then, I don't know if you've seen this guy as well, I made a, I don't know, Warbringer, something or other, a Terminator character of some sorts, and I'm kit bashing together a command squad for him. I finally found the banner I was looking for the other day, which was this, that I made ages ago. So that'll go on to the Terminator for the command squad. I also found this guy, who I'm going to paint now, who is going to be my bounty hunter for a Necromunda campaign. Or, you know, hired ganger, that sort of thing. The Bando. I have started printing off the poop demon. That could mean many things. Technically, when you sit on the toilet, you become a 3D printer. I'm assuming you mean you're printing some Nurgle demons. I mix Agrax and Reichland for my general washes. Reichland's really, really good for gold. If you're going to do that. A little bit of water and then gold. So what do you think, guys? I tidied up. The desk isn't messy anymore, so it's technically not Bando's messy stream anymore. Ah, Nurgle demons from Total War. Nice. Ooh, is that? Oh no, it's not. I thought we had our first blockage on this. Sorry if my hands are absolutely filthy and purple. I'll give you one guess on what I've been base coating. Need to start work on my command squad. Not sure what armor mark or pose I want for the Chosen yet. You're doing Ultramarines, aren't you? Spooky. Well, you've got two kind of ways of looking at it. Either you go for older armor marks because they're veterans and they've got, you know, older armor that they have kept and they've not needed to replace because obviously they're veteran warriors, they know what they're doing, they haven't sustained the casualties that line troops would, so, you know, you could stick them in Mark II, Mark III armor. Or they, you know, could be in top of the line armor. They could be a Mark VI or Mark IV because they get stuck in, they've got the best gear. Yeah, when it becomes available, they need to replace it. Or you could stick them in an amalgamation of gear in non-production Mark V because these guys are always in the thick of it. Not afraid to lead from the front. Well, as long as the banner bearer is not wearing Mark V, and I won't get too emotional. A good selection of armour could be good, you know, mix it up a bit, especially if they're Ultramarines and it's supposed to be sort of a Calth Shadow War-ish setup, you know, they're going to be scrounging armour from anywhere they can get their hands on. It has just occurred to me that this guy's wearing a glove. It's not bare skin. That's really annoying. Oh well, we can fix that in post-production. Deeply disappointed in the 40-year anniversary. Absolute garbage. Wraith, you're not far off, mate. It was definitely disappointing. They could have had an absolutely banger of a model out, but they didn't. It's a pity. I probably, if I'd been in charge, I would have done a Harry the Hammer model based on the green hammer-wielding guy on the front of the original Warhammer art book. That's, or rule book, sorry, not art book. That's what I would have done for the model. On top of that, I would have then also done a Space Marine as well. I would have done a Fantasy one and a sci-fi one, just to, you know, to cover all the bases. I would have done a sale. I know Games Workshop doesn't do sales, but yeah, I would have done a sale. Maybe just in store, you know, actual in your shop, and Oh, you could have gone mad. Can you imagine like a 40% off sale? A sale in store only, like not online, not on the web store, only in the physical stores, gets people in them in a place where a lot of people don't like going nowadays. You could have limited edition models in there as well. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I also would have looked at doing reprints of more than just Rogue Trader. I probably would have done a print on demand for... Oh, what was it? Well, I would have done a print on demand for created or collected visions for the Heresy. You know, the Horus Heresy art book. Slaves to Darkness as well. The Jess Goodwin art books would have all been print on demand, and maybe even some more, you know, versions of 40k. You know, like the 3rd edition rulebook, the 2nd edition rulebook, that sort of thing. We're also very close to the release of 10th edition, which is kind of weird. Like they maybe should have timed 10th edition to launch at the same time. And this green really shows through the flesh colour. Not good. But yeah, a lot of the models I wasn't impressed with. A Rogue Trader book and, yeah, boxed game would have been really cool. I don't think Rogue Trader ever actually had a box set. No, I don't think it did. So, yeah, a limited run box set, which you could have done 40 Mark 6 Marines, so it's similar to the old RTB one, and then Orcs, and you could have literally had them painted up as Crimson Fists, and you know, basically you do that whole you know, the Crimson Fist Last Stand thing again. That's yeah, do that. You can only buy it in store. If you buy that box set, which comes with the Rogue Trader rulebook, by the way, you get a voucher, a one-off voucher for 40% off anything in store if you purchase that day. Now, you see, someone's not going to take advantage of that particularly because you don't advertise the 40% voucher until the day. So it's not like people can just save up for their obscene hobby budget and then drop like £60 billion in one go. Maybe even stipulate a limit, an upwards limit on how much they can spend. You know, maximum of, you know, £500, £1,000, whatever. But the goodwill you'd get from having that, you know, and showing that you actually did something for the community. It wasn't just like, hey, here's another model, go buy it. I don't know, I think it would do well to start mending bridges. Hello, Havoc. What's for breakfast? Salt. Salt is for breakfast. It's always salt. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind them doing a Votan model, but they could have done something a bit more interesting. You know, they could have done an actual, like, space dwarf biker model. An actual... Oh, I mean, that would be perfect. A Necromunda model that is actually a squat on a trike. It would be pretty popular, I think. I think the worst model shown off was definitely the Adeptus Mechanicus, like Stilty Man. I think he was just ridiculous. I think I did think about doing a video on this, but I don't know because I don't have any proof of this. But basically, my feeling is that Games Workshop suffers from two things. One, they suffer from the fact that they want to keep everything close to their chest. You know, they don't want anyone to know what's coming out because they don't want people planning. They want people to be reacting. You know, buy this. I don't know when it's going to happen. You know, purchase this because you don't know when it's going to go out of stock. Purchase this because you don't bother saving for this army because it may be never coming. Buy this because it's going to go out of stock and the scalpers might get it. And that's really annoying. That's really, really annoying because it's not healthy at all for any of us. And I mean, eventually the scalping problem is going to solve itself because people will stop buying. People will give up. They'll just go, I can't get the models. Why would I bother trying? And they'll source them from other places. The other thing they suffer from, I think, is yes men. I think that the guys who actually are, you know, okaying projects don't have enough pushback from people in the studio. Or the studio is just filled with people who are all on the same wavelength, which is not what you want in a creative space. You want people with the other opinion. The Mark III stuff is still in stock on GW. I'm actually kind of surprised of that. I'm surprised at that because I thought people wouldn't control themselves. I'm sure it's in stock because GW basically has spent the last 6 months making it like mad, which is why the old stuff has not been available. But yeah, I think that the studio is filled with people who they're just so happy that they get to work at Games Workshop that they don't want to rock the boat. That's coupled with corporate types in positions of power who aren't used to getting pushback. So if someone does give some pushback, they don't last long. And I have heard that the corporate culture at GW in the back office is very toxic. You know, you're either with them or against them. And they don't show off their concept art. So they don't have a chance to course correct before they make mistakes. The correct thing for GW to do is, for example, when they're going to release Mark V, say they want to radically change Mark V Marines. It's Salt, Joseph. It's always Salt. That's all we talk about here. What's Games Workshop doing wrong? So say they want to radically change Mark V Marines design, right? They're going to get the concept artist to sketch up something. They'll have a little chat. You know, this is the kind of thing we're thinking. Oh, you know, they'll throw around some buzzwords. Industrial, brutal, slapdash, you know, that sort of thing. And the guys will create some models. And the 2D creative types will create some concept art. The 3D guys will then work on it. And they'll put out a render. And they may even print it because, you know, they've got an industrial printer. It's cheap to do. And that's it. The guy in charge will either say, yeah, that's great, no, that sucks, and they'll keep going from there. However, if he really likes it, and it's the same problem Microsoft has with a lot of their products, by the way, he might be wrong for the rest of the community, because what he's created, we're all going to laugh at. Let's take that Adeptus Mechanicus guy, for example. He thinks it's as cool as anything. Okay? But then again, he likes The Last Jedi and thinks it's the greatest Star Wars movie. So he's obviously a terrible judge of character. At no point does anyone else in the studio push back and go, it looks a bit dumb, can we redesign the legs? Because they're all afraid of this guy. They don't want to lose their jobs. Especially not in this market. So this model then goes through the process and it gets painted and it gets boxed and it gets released. And the sales do really badly. Do they learn this from this lesson? No, not at all. They'll blame the fans, they'll say we're entitled, they'll blame creators who pointed out that this isn't a popular design, and then they'll slowly wait for it to, you know, shuffle off its mortal coil on the, on the stage, and eventually 2 or 3 codexes from now, it'll just be quietly discontinued, and that's it. What should happen, and this is what happened with the Space Wolves, I think, is they show it off, and we kick up enough of a stink. And they go, we haven't sent it to full production yet, we can change this. Which is something you can do with resin. This is why resin's slightly better than plastic. Okay, panic. Okay, what do we do? People clearly hate this. Have you seen the amount of memes that are being made? They hate this. And then someone makes a decision, okay, we screwed up, let's redesign it. Which is harder to do with plastic, because by the time they're showing it off, they've already got the moulds made, and the moulds are expensive. They're kind of committed at that point. Now, what they should do to fix this problem is they should show the renders off before they've signed off and gone, this is what we want to do. There should be a weekly, monthly designer live stream, basically, of the sculptors and the design team chatting about what they're doing in the future, you know, ideas they've got, things they want to create. And that's it. Literally, you show off this render of these fictional Mark V marines, and everyone looks at them and goes in the chat, and they're like, "Hey, one quick question: why are there no studs?" Oh, we've decided to get rid of the studs because they're really hard to cast in plastic. Okay, why has it got a beaky helmet? Oh, because beaky helmets were the original. Beakies were the original Mark V, so we thought we'd have a throwback to that Mark V. Ah, okay. Well, that's not the Mark V we want. Oh, what do you mean? It's really cool. We really like it. Yeah, we don't. And then they've now got enough time to change it. And they go, look, we've had some reaction to the live stream. The public really don't like the beaky production Mark V. What do we do? And they redesign it. And yeah, we might end up with a sprue where the front and the back of the legs are separate. That's actually how I expect Mark V to be on the sprue. Instead of just being, you know, this leg and then the lower part of this leg, I kind of expect the whole leg to be cut, like the whole torso and everything to be clamshelled, basically, straight down the middle. Yeah, it's going to be the Mark VI pad, but cranked up to 11. But they won't show off their renders because they don't want to. They don't want the competition seeing what they're working on. They don't want to spoil the surprise. They don't want to minimise FOMO. They don't want people to go, oh, okay, well, I was going to get really big and, you know, save all my money up for this Space Marine release, but the new Space Marine Devastators look garbage, so I'm not going to bother. And they keep going. That's what they do. Yeah, the GW Echo Chamber. And unfortunately, if they don't listen to the community, they'll never get beyond a certain size. And what's worse than all that is the yes men in the community who eat it up, that have like zero original thoughts in their heads. Yeah, the heavy moderation of their chat. This is the problem. This is. I'm going to go on a real weird tangent now. So we often hear the phrase like "no politics at the dinner table," right? I hate that because it's not that there's no politics at the dinner table. It's only acceptable politics at the dinner table. So, for example, you know, you're sat down, you're all having dinner, and someone goes, "Oh, did you see on the news? The Cat in the Hat came out and bashed in the brains of 400 children." And we go, "Oh no, that's terrible. That's awful." And I'm not allowed to say, actually, there's no footage. There's nothing. Like, those children are still alive. They're posting on Instagram telling people that they're not dead. It's actually you know, it's propaganda because it starts an argument. So it's not that it's, you know, no politics at the dinner table. It's don't question the narrative at the dinner table, and that's very much what GW is like with their comment section. They only want positive comments. They only want to be told that their models are the greatest, that you can't wait to get your hands on them. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh, I can finally do my Iron Warriors army for the heresy I've always wanted to do, because now an acceptable Mark III kit's been released. Oh, I can finally do Raven Guard because there's a plastic Mark VI kit. There was always a plastic Mark VI kit. It just cost a lot to get enough of them. But just like the Emperor's new clothes, you know, eventually someone will come out who's not part of the Echo Chamber and they'll tell them. Actually, what happens in a corporate situation is the CEO finds out that he's done something wrong by the fact that he's been fired, and then they get another guy in. Because that's what happened to the Disney CEO. He got fired while at a concert on a Sunday evening because he'd fucked up. No chance to fix your mistakes. No, hey, how are we going to course correct? Nope, just simple. Thanks for your service. Here's a check. Go away. It's really annoying. I can see the footage on 2 screens, and the middle one in front of me, the brightness and everything is different on this one because I need it higher because I use it specifically for one thing. So I keep looking at this and it's all washed out and almost bright white, like I can't see anything. And I'm like, oh no, am I just recording like white light and out of focus stuff for you guys? And then I look at the other one and actually realise, no, everything's in focus and I can see what I'm doing. My hands feel awful. But yeah, they need them. The moderation of the chat needs to be the only moderation it needs to be is, swearing and links to scam sites, that sort of thing. Links to resellers or recasters. People should be able to voice their opinion and say, no, I don't like this model. It has just occurred to me that I could have got the exact same effect that I've got on this so far if I just painted it like Ulthwyn Grey and then given it a light blue wash. But we don't do things easy here. It's the Bando way or the sane person way. GW making an echo chamber isn't my issue. That makes sense. It's community-run discords and forums. Yeah. Yeah, and I think I know exactly which Discord you're talking about. People in this hobby spend so much money that their relationship with Games Workshop becomes unhealthy. They spend so much money and invest so much time that the hobby becomes everything to them. Then any attack on the hobby becomes an attack on them. And it's really bad in Games Workshop because, and I saw this all the time when I worked there, every Games Workshop hobbyist of a certain degree is ever hopeful that they will work at Games Workshop. The only hobbyists who are not like that generally have worked at Games Workshop already. I don't mean all of them. I mean, there are definitely people out there who don't want it, but a lot of Games Workshop hobbyists, and I mean a lot of them, they all want it. They all want to work at Games Workshop because they think, oh my god, a job where I just get to paint miniatures all day or some shit like that. And it's not. It's not at all. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There is definitely that as a part of the, you know, the hobby. You know, you work there and you get to sit and paint models because that's what you've been told to do for that day. Or if there's no one walked in to come, you know, buy anything, you get to, you know, you get to do it then. But it's definitely not, it's not what you do every day. And it's definitely not worth it. But yeah, a lot of people want to work at Games Workshop. And especially with Games Workshop sending out free stuff now, there are so many people out there now who are just shilling for the company because they hope they'll get, you know, they'll get noticed, they'll get given free stuff. I did notice today that there was another creator I'd never heard of who'd been sent a Mark III Italian box, who had well under 1,000 subscribers. So it's definitely about who you are, like your content and how pro GW you are, versus the size of you, basically. You know, someone who's got 60,000 subscribers, I could understand them getting contacted by GW, but some very small creators get it as well. And you know, everyone wants free stuff, obviously. So yeah, they're all hoping they get noticed. They're all hoping they get picked up for that sort of thing, which is understandable, you know. Oh yeah, Maka doesn't get sent stuff. I won't get sent stuff because again, it's the echo chamber. You cannot be critical of the company. I've also noticed that if you cover a lot of other war games, you generally are not one of those people. The discount was nice. I tell you what, the discount is nigh on essential nowadays because people are paying. I mean, you would be paying with the discount nowadays what regular people were paying when I was in. Actually, probably higher now. Yeah, Vampire Lord, I think was about £12 when I was in. So yeah, 24, £25. So it's nice if you're doing like, if you're working there as a part-timer. If you're there as a part-timer, it'd be great. You know, maybe you're just working the weekends, getting a bit of extra money, but you're getting that discount. But then you work a regular job that actually pays you a decent wage during the week. Yeah, I could do that for a couple of months, definitely. So yeah, if they did if they did Christmas temping, it'd be great. But the funny thing is, people like Macca are the people you want to send free stuff. Macca is the sort of person you want to be a playtester, because he is very passionate about the hobby, and he plays the game a lot in a semi-organised fashion. So he is definitely the sort of person you want, you know, helping develop rules and stuff. No, if I was working at Games Workshop, if I was in the head office, like, my goal would be to make people like the Outer Circle sing your praises. You know, if we can make it so that, you know, Macca sings the praises of the company, and so does Leaky Cheese and Northern Exile, but also, you know, people like Code Walrus. If you can get them all saying, hey, actually Games Workshop did a really good job here, then you know you've done a really good job. Seriously, look how easy these TT Combat paints cover. I love them. I'm looking forward to trying out the new Army Painter ones when they're available. Every time I see a picture of a Mark III Marine at the moment on Instagram from the artwork, you know, some random piece of Collected Visions or Rogue Trader era artwork, I just know it's going to be Leaky Cheese posting it. He's made it like his mission to disprove everyone who's a naysayer of the new Mark III. When's the review? Whenever I can get around to sitting down and recording the audio. I don't know if you saw in the last live stream, I did talk about it. The audio basically got corrupted. So I'm going to have to re-record it, and I'm basically just going to have to play the footage I've got, maybe at like 2 times speed, and just give you my thoughts on the paints. Yeah, it happens. You know, especially when you know, the more awkward and weirdly bespoke your recording setup is, the more chance you're going to have something screw up. And mine is jury rigged to all hell and back. Yeah, the helmet looks awful. The models I've seen where people have replaced it with the old Mark III make it look a lot better. The ones who've used like the Dark Angel upgrade helmets, they look really good. Even just removing the spike looks better. I will most definitely be removing the spike for mine when I do them for my Alpha Legion. Saw a post on Facebook today with a guy who paints his Alpha Legion in the same scheme I want to paint mine in, but he uses oil paints to do his, and it looked phenomenal. Pardon me. Have I got any plans for my 60 Mark III? Yes, so the plan is to do 2 tactical squads for the Alpha Legion. Whether or not they're going to be 10 man or 20 man, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do some of them with a support squad with some Volkite. I don't know if it's going to be Cavaliers or Chargers. A 5 or 10 man plasma cannon heavy support squad, and possibly a command squad. I've got plans for a Praetor using the normal Alpha Legion Praetor body, the Exodite head, and I'm going to use the spear arm from the Golden Keshig jet bike. And he'll just be, he'll look almost like Alfarius's model, but just a lot smaller. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, I can't stand the way they made the bolt gun. Yeah, it looks awful. I'm very worried about what they're going to do for the Mark II bolt gun. I'm gonna assume they're going to use the same bolt gun. I hope that would be the probably least egregious thing they could do. So yeah, what, 20 tactical marines, 10 man support squad, 10 man heavy support squad, and then yeah, 5 man command squad with Praetor. So that leaves me what, 20 Mark III to use for something else. No idea what though. What colour should I do his trousers? I'm leaning towards like a dark blue. Maybe camouflage. I think. Oh yeah, camouflage could be fun. Should we do camouflage? Yeah, let's do camouflage. Oh yeah, sorry Havoc, I meant to get back to you. Yeah, we'll sort something out. Don't rush or anything, mate. I'm not in a panic for them. But yeah, I'll definitely take them off your hands. I'm basically resting my chin on my telephone, which is right here in front of me. So all I'm breathing in is hot electronic smell, which I'm sure is super healthy for me. So the real question is, what's going to be in the battalion box they do for Mark IV Marines? Because we haven't got another dreadnought. The Land Raiders are... one's definitely going to the Night Lords, I know that. I'm not sure where the other one will go. If they redo the Mark IV Castaferum Dreadnought, yeah, I could see that working. I'd absolutely love that, I really would. But that, again, would have suited Mark III better. You know, you'd have the breaches and all that going into on board a ship or whatever. Pair of javelins. Saber light tanks. Yeah, that'd be cool. The javelin needs a radical price reduction. The javelin needs to be closer to £20 in my opinion. Or if they do it like the Proteus, which should be like £20 or so. The price point it's at, even at like recasters, is just ridiculous. Especially if you want me taking them in you know, squadrons of 3. I know it'll cost £35–40, but yeah, that'll be the problem. this shade of green is very similar to Russian flora, and the shirt is already blue and white stripy, and it kind of is begging me to paint it up as the blue and white stripy Telshanka undershirt. But I will try to avoid doing that. A plastic Xiphon would be great. I think that is possibly something. I think you're getting closer to what they would do. A Storm Eagle or Fire Raptor kit. 30 Mark IV Marines and a character. You know, or a pair of characters. Could be a good Mark IV kit. Throw in a special weapons squad in there as well, you know, the upgrade sprue. Although 3 new kits would be weird for a box set like that. They usually throw in something that's more of a lost leader kind of thing. So, yeah. Which I guess would probably be the character. I doubt they'd put a new one in. What else would we try? I'd like to see combat patrols, or start collecting. Go back to start collecting. Or just call them battle forces. But as a permanent item, basically, you know, it's always there, and it would be traitors and loyalists. So you'd have, I don't know, the loyalist one, for example, would be Mark III, maybe 20 Mark III, a Rhino, and a Contemptor Dreadnought. And then for the, you know, for the traitors it'd be Mark IV, and maybe it would be the other Contemptor Dreadnought, you know, the different kit, the ranged one. Maybe it's not a Rhino, you know, maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe you put a Predator in theirs and not a Dreadnought, and maybe they get a heavy weapons team. It's just something different, you know. But I think something that is a slightly bigger box set, you know, as a regular release item, would be a nice addition to the Heresy. Think you might be onto something there, Trippy. Doing a Calf box set with a new Curtha Sed in an upscaled, redone Mark IV, and then doing, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the Ultramarines Cataphracti guy updated. That'd be cool. Make him more a generic Terminator Praetor. You know, give him the chain fist so he can still be the character in question, but also, you know, give him a sword and a, you know, a power fist or whatever. And then, yeah, something like 20 Mark IV and a Dreadnought. Yeah, 20 Mark IV, a Contemptor Dreadnought, and then on the Ultramarine side would be 20 Mark III and 5 to 10 Cataphracti Terminators plus the character. I think that would work. if you've not listened to The Honoured, that is actually a really good audiobook. All about the opening attack on the Ultramarines. Just shows how like brutal an underground war in a large tunnel complex is. The second book in the series, which is the same story but from the World Eater's point of view, is not so great. It's very like I'm moustache twiddling evil, and it's not as well written, in my opinion. I'd love Legion specific starters on Forge World, get 20 Mark 3, Mark 5, Mark 6. A Rhino, your Legion Praetor on foot, and a section of transfer. That would be great, yeah. If they did proper bundles on the website with a discount, they'd have to make it, because like there's no point doing it where I can get everything cheaper. Games Workshop doesn't seem to understand that. But yeah, something that is like 30 ex-Marines, either a special weapons sprue or a heavy weapons, heavy weapon or a special weapon kit, because they're about the same price. A dreadnought, a pack of upgrade heads, just one pack of upgrade heads if we're doing it through Forge World, and the decal sheet would be great. So wait, so we got what, 50, so 45, 30, 20. Yeah, so you could do all that for say £100, and it would be a discount on buying it from Games Workshop. Maybe do it at 85, make it a bit more competitive with third-party retailers. Add something else in there like a tank. Characters, that sort of thing. 2 packs of heads, whatever. But yeah, that would be good. Yeah, like the motivation for the main character in The Honoured is good because he was really good friends with Kurthased. Kurthased saved his life. He owed him a life debt and honour. So he had to find him. He had to trace him down. He had to know why Kurthased had turned his back on the Emperor. He couldn't quite believe that he had done it. And he needed to know for sure why it had happened. And then if you read the second novel, which again I can't remember the name of it, it's like, oh, here's the centurion at Monarchia, and the Emperor, he hates us. I'm just going to walk into a church and murder everyone because, God said, doesn't like me. I base coated my Special Marines today. I'm going to give them another coat tomorrow, maybe. That's good. I'll tell you what, it's one of the easiest and cheapest investments you'll ever make for your hobby things, is a cheap hairdryer. Real cheap hairdryer. Lets you dry out your models a lot quicker. You don't have to just do it, just dry them off so they're dry to the touch. And that'll save you so much time if you're, batch painting. light's not showing through very well. Yeah, there you go. Don't get a cheap hairdryer, steal your mum's overpriced one. That too. My housemate keeps stealing mine. Don't know why he doesn't shower. But I did manage to get my P90 back off of him, so that was nice. Painting on camera is really hard because you don't want to make mistakes. I must be infallible for my audience. They must not know I am a human being who absolutely cocks up painting on a regular basis. What's poppin', y'all? Oh, I can't answer that. Speaking of hairdryers, I went on eBay and instinct bought some Suzerain and Guilliman. The stands on Guilliman's base are so bent it's shocking. Yeah. Again, hairdryer is a great investment because you can straighten out resin. You can bend things to your will. You can accidentally tear gas yourself with super glue like I did. Am I going to do camo for the helmet? I might do. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I appear to be very much winging it as I go. Have to go. Well, catch you later, Trippy. Have a good evening. Oh, that paint is far too thick. Yeah, so this is the closest I can get it to my eyes with being semi-comfortable while keeping it in focus on the camera. This is perfect. If I could hold it like this and paint it like this, but unfortunately that's where the light is and that's where the camera is. There's so little space right here. We are talking about maybe 3 or 4 inches from the camera to the model, and then about 2 inches to there, and my face is right behind the camera and I'm bent over double. I'm like a contortionist right now, so it's not very comfortable. Is that a squat? Technically it's a halfling. But it's going to be used for my squat Necromunda gang. He's going to be like a hired gun. So I don't know how he's going to scale against the squats. But yeah, he's probably a rattling. Yeah, for the plan is to once I'm cleared off the workbench behind me, I'll be moving all of this sort of stuff over to that, and I want to get a proper camera and have it set up so I don't have to touch it again, and that way I will just be able to, you know, use that as is. Yeah, I don't know much about the Votan myself. Descendants of Dark Age of technology, humans who worship AI. That's basically the limit of what I know. I think they're cloned, aren't they? And the AI are going Dulafi or something like that. That's about all I know. Fantastic. Glad to hear it, Wraithface. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol is fantastic. How to do this without looking awful. By doing it on just the helmet. Pardon me. Tower like brand new now. Yeah, it's really good. Just make sure you wash them off afterwards, and don't forget, you know, learn from your mistakes. That's because the lore of the Space Marine chapters like things, but yeah. I don't like the colour scheme they've gone for the Votan. I think the orange scheme looked better. We don't have any majority orange races out there. After they decided Tau were going to be white. Oh, keep bumping the camera. If you have Tau and airbrush, helps a lot. Oh yes. Oh yeah. If you had the money, do you think you'd get a Titan? I was thinking about this earlier and I'm not sure. I would, simply because of space. Building that much resin. So I was talking to Matthew, who was in the stream the other day, who was a friend of mine, and we were talking about the Sokar pattern Stormbird. And I said, we were having this conversation about, like, if money was no object. And I said how I wanted one for my Ultramarines. And I'd pay someone to build it for me. And his first question was, yes, but where are you going to put it? And it's a valid question. Some of these models do take up huge amounts of space. Like the Manta is just ridiculous. It's painfully large. So would I get a Titan? Absolutely, I'd love to paint a Titan. I wouldn't particularly feel like building one. But if I could paint one, I would like to. I also feel like Games Workshop needs to work on their Titan production. When you see people having to pin them together with brass rods, it's almost like you guys need to figure out a better way of putting these things together. Or provide them with the brass rods. What Titan Legion would I paint it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know actually much about the Titan Legions. So I don't know if I would do it Loyalist or Traitor. I'd probably... I don't know. At the end of the day, I'd probably put it up to a vote on the channel, because you guys know more about it than I do. I'd quite like to paint... I like the black and yellow fire one. I liked the one that Squidmar did with the sort of water themed Titan, the Kraken and stuff. That was kind of cool. I'm not sure. Something that size. I'd like to paint it. I'd probably like to paint it a more pale colour. you know, black and white, or, you know, bone and white. Don't know. I'd have to have a look at all the Titan Legions and come up with it. Let's have a Titan Legions. Boop. Legio Defensor I quite like. They got the lime green and white. That looks kind of cool. Legio Honorum looks kind of cool because it's very bright red and gold. Legio Oberon. Legio Oberon with the kind of mustardy orange and black, but it's almost like tiger striped. That's kind of cool. Legio Ossidax. Legio Ossidax would be good because it's a metallic blue and white quartered scheme. Legio Presagius, again, it's a very Nova Marine looking one. Legio Solari with a weird off-white green speckly theme. Those are ones I quite like the look of. Legio Tempestus with the blue and white again, but lots of checkerboard. You guys know how I feel about checkerboarding. I think Oberon, Lysander, and Defensor are my top three, with Legio Fortidius very close. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, those are who I'd go for, personally. I'm looking at buying a new load of what are they called? IKEA glass cabinets eventually. But they are expensive, unfortunately. Pardon me. I would like a warlord. I wouldn't start with a warlord. I'd probably start with a reaver. Not the huge fan of the warhound, to be honest. But it would be an airbrush job. It would not be a brush job. I mean, the Warhound's okay. I just don't like... I just prefer all of the other Titans. if I was to do a Warhound, I would probably have to do one in a similar style to how it's described. There's a traitor one described in Titanicus that has a plasma cannon and a trident, and it runs around stabbing all of the loyalist titans in the gut before running away. Ironically, it gets killed by a warlord who it hides under a motorway freeway bridge sort of thing, where the warlord can't depress its guns low enough, and the warlord princeps basically goes, okay, walk away from it. Gets to a position where he can kind of, he's still pretty close, and then they do this whole matrix thing where they lock their feet in place and they just roll themselves backwards until the main body is almost parallel to the ground, but they can now depress the guns low enough, and the warlord's like, oh, ruh-roh raggy, and then dies horribly. I need to get some. I need to do some more knights before I even think about doing titans, though. The largest model I've ever built and painted is a wraith knight, so I've got a bit, to scale up before I go anywhere. Yeah, I'll have to get one of the Knight Cerastus or whatever they are. Which is the plan, is to get one of those for my Night Lords. And his name will be Via Stagni, which is Latin for Tin Man. It has just occurred to me that the second Deradrea Dreadnought I've got would suit my Night Lords as well, because I've been thinking how the hell I will do something for the Scarecrow, but an anti-aircraft Dreadnought would fit that perfectly. I'm not a big fan of the Warbringer. I don't like the cannon on the back. I think it looks silly. And if I was to get a Warlord, the configuration I'd want is dual fists, because it's ridiculous and no one ever does it. But yeah, dual fists with rocket pods on the back. Yeah, Alpha, there's it's definitely worth getting display cases. It really is cool to just sort of be able to look at the stuff you've worked on. I'm very happy I've got display cases where I can show off my stuff. Right, I'm gonna have to end this soon, guys, because I've got to go get everything ready for work tomorrow. I've actually got to cook my lunch for tomorrow, and it is 11 o'clock already. So I should have had it all done 2 hours ago, and I didn't because I'm stupid. Well, now that the Mark III stuff's out, we should start seeing some hype for the Mystery Army next. That's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. It's like the worst kept mystery known to man, though. I mean, that being said, they could really screw us and come out with something like Sisters of Silence out of nowhere. That would be hilarious, actually, to do that. Come out, give it, have it be Sisters of Silence, and everyone's like, but the Baneblade, we saw the Baneblade. We'll get Plastic Mark V, don't worry. It's going to be a while, though. Yeah, Plastic Mark V will come out. I don't know, probably with 3rd edition. But again, they could really surprise us and do it before they do. Mark IV. Everyone's expecting Mark IV next, so it could be quite a nice surprise to do Mark V instead. I think Mark II could be a really easy one to do as well, because they would have had to have designed basically Mark II armour for the Mark III. An individual stud sprue. Oh god, don't even joke about that. Now, I still think it's going to be clamshell. They're going to do the bodies in half back to front, the whole thing. Or possibly even just the legs. The legs will be back, you know, front and back. Oh, could you imagine if the helmets are two-part as well? Oh, if the helmets were two-part, it would be awful. Don't give them any ideas, yeah. Yeah, basically. I need to get some studs and ball bearings to turn Mark 7 heads into Mark 5s. 2 seconds, Spooky, let me find something for you. It's a good thing I knew exactly where they were in this tip. These are the rivets from Zinj Industries. And as you can see, it is just a field of dicks. So you can get these for very, very cheap, and lots of them, from Zinj Industries. And you take a 1/2 mil drill bit for these ones, I think. I think these are they do them in different different sizes. And one of them is a 1 mil drill bit. And that's what I used on this guy. If you look, he's got like off-center nipples, and on the shins as well. So yeah, these are the larger ones. Those are the smaller ones. They're called rivets. Let me see if I can find the actual page for them. rivets, and it is... they're the medium, or they're the round head rivet sprue. So it's £2 and you get 100 of them. And all you do is you take your drill, you drill a hole in the model, dooby-dooby-doo, you clip it off the sprue, you leave the head, you know, the tail on it, and then you just dip in like a little bit of super glue and drop it in. If it's, or you dry fit it first, obviously. If it's a bit too long, just clip a bit more of the tail and then drop it in. Adding studs. Do you like studs? Yeah, adding them to vehicles is nice and easy because you've got a lot of space to work with. You know, use them for the taros and stuff to pin them in place. I've not particularly added many of them to infantry models. I think I used a few on my Sons of Medusa if I knew where they were. But I don't, so that's unfortunate. So they work fine. You just need to, you know, draw them out. Draw out where you want them. Get a pen, like a marker pen, and go like straight line down, dot, dot, dot. So you know exactly where the drill bit's going to go. They're fantastic having. If you can drill in a straight line, they are fantastic. Another thing that Zinj does, they do like flexible cables and stuff, all sorts of weird and wonderful bits for vehicles, but one of the best things they do is they do a breacher shield, which I have one around here somewhere. There it is. They do these breacher shields, and they do 5 for £5. Now they've only got, you know, that on the back of them, but a squad of, you know, a squad of breachers is pretty cheap when you do them that way. They're called Siege Shields, human scale. Oh no, once. I mean, this is scale onto a marine. Okay, just this guy, it fell off him when I was working on him. So yeah, they fit fine scale wise with marines. Zinj Industry's great. They're a UK based like shop. They are just what they are. You know, they're a really good retailer. I saw them at Salute this year, and really fantastic guys, really friendly. They actually had big bags of what do you call it? Like B grade stuff. You know, slightly miscast. Here you go. All sorts of weird bits and pieces that weren't up to scratch, but will be absolutely brilliant for basing. And they sold them really cheap. Yep. Yeah, they also do hex bolts as well. And round shields, I think. Anvil Industries do round shields, which I prefer. I'm gonna stop working on him now. I need to really unhealthify his skin tone, so there'll be some purple washes and green washes in his future. I'm gonna make his bandages dirty. I'm gonna do some chipping and detailing on the knee pads and the armour. And I'm going to work on the gun and the leather and his grenades. So yeah, thanks for coming along and watching. I just thought I'd test out the new camera setup and show you my nice clean desk. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Next week I shall be showing off these guys some more. So yeah. Very happy with those, and been testing this as well, and it's very nice, very useful in an airbrush. So if you are looking for a fluid retard, I'm your man. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it. You know, they're waiting for the gloss varnish to dry on my Sikaran, and that's it. Yeah. So thanks very much, guys, for coming along. I always appreciate you guys being here. You did, Mike. I'm really sorry. It wasn't planned. It was just a bit of a random one. But go back and watch it. You know, you can hear us talking about all sorts of weird stuff. But there you go, Mike. That's what I was working on today. Just for you.